Making the simple complicated is commonplace. Making the complicated simple, awesomely simple, that's creative. Charles Mingus and my friends, we try to be creative here every day in the way we offer you what's going on in the markets, in the way we analyze this as we set up our charts. Very, very simple. We hope that you enjoy it. Let's talk about what's going on today. Stocks are mixed, bonds down, gold and Bitcoin up. We'll start with the S&P 500. This blue line here is the weekly trend, and you can see how the half-day chart is trending right up it as it continues to move up. Now, we have a lot of indecision throughout the day, a lot in the morning, and in the afternoon also ended up at the end of the day being down 0.05%. We're looking at a Heiken Ashi candlestick chart. Average pace is what that means in Japanese. I am told it shows us, again, taking out so many of the fluctuations that I was talking about yesterday. The formula is not high, open, low, close. It is the open is the average of the open and the close from the prior day. The close is the average of the open, close, high, and low. The high and low are on the charts every day. The session high, session low for, again, this time frame. This is a 195-minute chart. Anybody tells you that the 4-hour chart is a half-day chart, they don't know what they're talking about because the market is not open 8 hours, 195 minutes. That's the reason we have our half-day chart set up correctly. So that's what we see going on. We haven't switched from red to green on the STC. We're above the 200 EMA. We look at where we are on the 2-day. It is still green above the 200 EMA on the weekly. It is still green above the 200 EMA, moving right up that line. But again, you can see where the power of the move is decreasing. We're not reaching higher highs. Didn't this week so far. It didn't last week. The most recent high was back on the week beginning the 30th of January. Candles are getting smaller and the tops are getting smaller. Could things be topping out? They could. We'll see how things continue to move along. Haven't had a trigger yet trying to get us in. Let's look at where things are on the NASDAQ 100. It ended up for the day 0.74% versus the little bit of a down move in the S&P 500. Lots of indecision in the morning we can see, and then moving up in the afternoon, but not hitting the high of the morning session. It doesn't look like. Let's see. We see the high in the morning was 307.72, 307.54. So yes, I did see that correctly. Still red on the STC at the bottom. We haven't crossed over, hasn't switched over going up. And check out what we see on this 2-day chart. Lots of indecision these last two-day candles. This Monday candle finished drawing today. It's a 2-day candle. Started Monday, ended on Tuesday. We'll start a new one tomorrow. So we see the NASDAQ 100 just not pushing above this 200 EMA. It's holding off there. Let's check out the volume. What does a volume tell us? We can see average volume. Again, with no movement in the price. Is that not interesting? Could it mean that, the market makers are selling as the suckers are buying? Is it getting ready to take off or getting ready to roll over? If we had low volume and saw these dojis, that'd tell us something else, that maybe, there just wasn't any interest in it. But again, we're seeing volume right up there at the average, so there is interest. So we'll, again, keep our powder dry, see where that takes us. We look at the weekly, very similar to what I just said about the S&P 500. Smaller candles, lower highs. And, of course, we have low volume this week because we're only 2 days into a 5-day week. But we can see where volume was highest when it reached its most recent high back on the week beginning the 30th of January, and then slowed down as one would expect with a smaller candle. So that is where we are. Now, when we see things doing what they're supposed to do, that makes sense. When we see crazy stuff happening like super high volume and no price movement either up or down to go with that volume, that tells us something. Like if we go, okay, check this out. See the doji here? And see how the price is above average? Well, of course, it's hit a bottom. And again, telling you that what? People are interested in buying to send it up. And we see, again, where things flux around and then go up over the short term, roll back over, and then start to take off moving up. So we'll see where things go. Don't have any triggers to have us do anything at this point, so we'll just watch. Okay, let's move on to 20-year bonds. Down for the day, 0.23%. Remember, they rolled through when we look at this half-day chart back on February the 9th, Thursday. Down in the afternoon, it rolled down, actually the prior day, popped up, and then rolled over and is now just sort of hanging there. Lots of indecision in the morning, not as much in the afternoon, ended up down. And again, that's on the half day. It's been in the red. What about the 2-day? 2-day also just went red on this last 2-day candle, so some downward pressure there below the 200 EMA. And the weekly, it's still red, so we'll see where that's going. But again, red candle last week, red candle this week. Nothing big. We'll just see where it is heading. Don't have a trigger on this chart either. Now, what about gold? Well, gold, reached its most recent high as far as this half-day chart goes back on February the 1st. And then, of course, cranked over down, sideways for a little while, and then trending down again. And for the day, up 0.08%. Some spinning top, red spinning top in the morning, more indecision in the afternoon. Ended up just a little bit. We're in this downtrend. We're above the 200 EMA. Now we look at where we are on the 2-day. It also is in the red on the STC, and we see 4 down candles. We look at the weekly. It's above the 200 EMA. 2 down candles, a red spinning top before this latest move, but still holding on to the green. So again, just in some flux here, waiting for these charts to straighten out and tell us what they are going to do. Lastly, we'll go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin had been down for the last several days, popped up some today, up 2.55%. Still red on the STC after all this down energy. Not enough to pop us up. Indecision in the morning, popping up in the afternoon. Still below that weekly trend line on the half-day chart, 2-day chart. Again, strong down candles. The last 2 candles still red on the STC, hasn't reverted over. And still green on the STC on the weekly chart, although indecision last week and some down movement this week. We'll just, again, wait, watch, and see as these charts sort themselves out. We'd love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. I've got a great training for you in the show notes today on the average true range and how to use that to set your profit and loss bands. If you haven't taken that training yet or it's been a while, take it again. It is a great one. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. And if you're not signed up for our free email that goes out every day with this daily review and the once-a-week weekly review and forecast and those special trainings we put in the show notes every day, sign up. We never spam or sell that list. Take care.